Welcome to another episode of the Bible Toolbox. I'm Lydia.
And I'm Luke, and we're here to help you enjoy the Bible through the tools that scholars and programmers have created for you. So today we are going to talk about 3 foundational tools for studying the Bible.
Ooh, okay. Studying any part of the Bible or anything in particular?
You can use these 3 tools for a lot of different areas of study, but often they'll be used in word studies, or if you just come across a place name or a word that you don't know, these are tools that you can use.
Okay, sounds good. Let's dive in.
So the 3 tools that we're going to talk about are Bible dictionaries, lexicons, and concordances.
This sounds very grammar-like.
Yes, because we're talking about words.
But don't be scared, everybody. We can do it.
Yeah.
Hopefully this will help us kind of figure out when to use each of these tools, I'm assuming.
So when you hear the first one, Bible dictionary, okay, when you hear that, what do you hear? What do you expect?
I hear dictionary, and it's going to tell me what the word means.
Yeah, like it's going to give you a definition. That's not what you should be thinking.
Oh, no.
Okay. For whatever reason, I don't know why, in the Bible world, a Bible dictionary is what we would think of as an encyclopedia.
Oh, it's like a lot of information about a word.
Yeah. So it's going to give you like a paragraph information about a word, just telling you kind of the history of it, if there's synonyms, antonyms, what the different contexts that it's used in, whether it's like family, political, or personal, psychological, whatever. Words mean different things in different contexts, and some words are only used in particular contexts. So it's going to give you a whole kind of background and explanation of a word or a term or a concept or a place, whatever it is. Bible dictionaries, they're meant to be kind of like a reference there as you're reading your Bible and you come across a word, then you can go to it.
So it's kind of like tracing the history and just like basic facts about this word. Not, will it give you its definition as well?
It will. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
But it's not like the Oxford Dictionary where you can look and see all the different definitions.
Right.
So where do we go for that?
Yeah. So that is what a lexicon is.
A lexicon is a dictionary.
Yeah.
And a dictionary is an encyclopedia.
Yes.
Oh, great.
But so lexicons, though, are not, so you don't go to a lexicon and say, I want to look up the word joy. A lexicon for biblical studies or for studying the Bible is ordered by Greek and Hebrew words.
Okay.
So you'd go and you would search chara, and that's, the typical word translated as joy. And you can see the different definitions for chara.
But it'll be in English, I'm assuming. The lexicon will be.
Well, yes. I mean, the definitions are in English, okay. But I mean, the words, the word that you're searching will be in Greek or Hebrew or whatever it is.
Okay. So if I had a paper copy, it wouldn't be sorted by English alphabet.
Right.
It would be Greek and Hebrew alphabetized. Yep.
So this is where we can, thank God for tools that help us get to these lexicon entries online without knowing Greek and Hebrew.
Okay. So there's hope for us who don't know Greek and Hebrew.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And lexicons will focus in on what are called collocations.
Collocations.
And that is just this idea that words change meanings depending on words around them.
Okay, give me an example.
So 2 examples here. So break up versus break in, break out, break down.
Oh, so it's all break, but break changes meaning depending on what words it's surrounded by.
Yeah. Yeah. For a car to break down is not the same for a car to be broken in.
Okay.
Right?
Sure.
So break changes its nuance depending on words around it. And so lexicons will point out those different words or different instances where they change.
Okay. Cool. So that's a collocation.
It's a collocation. Words change meaning depending on the words around them.
Okay. Makes sense.
Another example I have here is shut, a similar idea, right? You can just shut a door, but you can be shut in, you can shut out someone, or you can just shut up, right?
Yeah, all of those different meanings like bring a different picture into my mind.
Right. Even though you have the basic idea of, closing or shutting something, but it's nuanced differently depending on what word you use after.
A little bit different.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have dictionaries, which are encyclopedias and give us a broad look at a word. We have lexicons, which are dictionaries and tell us definitions and how words change depending on their meaning or depending on the words around them. Okay, what's the third one?
The third one is a concordance.
Isn't that like the Strong's Concordance?
Okay, that's one concordance. There's other concordances, but a concordance lists all the places where a word is used in the Bible.
That's helpful.
Okay, so Strong's is a Greek and Hebrew concordance.
Okay.
It's going to give you all the places where a Greek word is used in the Bible. But there's also English concordances. There's like an NIV English concordance where you can look at all the places where the NIV translates joy.
In English, or do you have to know the Greek word?
In English. That's just straight English.
So where the word joy is, that'll tell you all the places.
Yeah. So there's different types of concordances, but gist of it, they just either English or Greek or Hebrew, they point out where this word is used in every place in the Bible.
And is that like just joy, or is it like joyful, rejoice, or are those different? And same with Greek and Hebrew words.
I guess I don't know for sure. For Greek, that's complicated. I think they would be separate. Okay. And it just takes one. It's kind of like you have break versus breaks. I break, but he breaks. Like there's different forms of the same word.
But they would probably be listed.
They would be listed together though, is what I'm trying. Yeah. So all the same word.
Like the root.
Yeah. It's the lexeme are going to be listed together.
Okay.
But I think joyful or rejoice, those would be in different.
Sure.
It probably depends on the concordance, honestly.
Okay. Well, hopefully this whole online thing will help us sort all these out. So let's take a tour of something that can be really helpful with these tools.
Okay. So here is one website which has these tools. There's multiple study websites, but I like Blue Letter Bible.
Okay. So it's blueletterbible.org.
Okay. And so for dictionaries, you can come up to study here, and they put encyclopedias / dictionaries.
Oh, funny.
Because they're the same thing.
But different than a lexicon. So you can see here. So if we're going to study faith or look into faith, you can come here, click on F, and find faith. And the way that Blue Letter Bible works is they have multiple dictionaries up here that you can check and uncheck. Okay.
And so here, faith, you can see these are multiple dictionaries that have entries. So if I click on this,
there's 5 dictionaries kind of feeding into this one word.
So Easton's Bible Dictionary, International Standard Bible, Encyclopedia, Nave's Topical Bible. All of these have entries on faith.
Okay.
So you can kind of see here, Easton's Bible Dictionary, it's not giving you definitions.
Yeah, it's like paragraphs.
It's paragraphs of information. There's verses with examples, and it's giving a full explanation of what is faith.
So is it kind of like a commentary on faith almost?
It is. That's maybe a good way to think about it. But it's not like verse by verse, but it's like word by word.
More like a topical
study, a topical commentary on faith.
Okay.
Yeah. And so the International Standard Bible is similar.
Oh, so it's just like entries from each of these Bibles, just like stacked on top of each other.
From these dictionaries. Okay. So a very similar, you see paragraphs explaining. This one has headings, etymology.
What does etymology mean?
That's the study of the roots and the history of how a word developed.
Okay.
So here, this is talking about our history of our English word. So it used to look like that. Feyth.
Seriously.
In the Havelock the Dane.
I guess that's
13th century. Yeah. It's again to the Sanskrit root to unite, to bind. I don't know.
Okay.
So
yeah.
it kind of gives you a history of the term, and then gives you different passages and different distinctions in it.
Okay. This is the dictionary / encyclopedia.
Yep.
Entry.
But there's different types of dictionaries.
Okay.
So like here, Nave's Topical Bible, I guess, is a dictionary, but it just lists out all of the different. This is almost more like
that looks like a concordance.
A topical concordance.
Interesting.
So it doesn't necessarily, each of these don't have to have the word faith in them. Right? You can have the concept of faith without using the word faith. Okay. So that's kind of a difference between topic and word. So Nave's Topical Bible tries to give you all of the examples of this topic being used.
Interesting.
But you get the gist. So most dictionaries are going to look more like Easton's Bible, where it's giving you a full paragraph explanation.
Okay.
Okay.
And you got there by doing study.
I went to study.
And then dictionaries.
Yeah.
Okay.
For lexicon, the way you would get there is if you're studying a verse. So let's say you're reading in Acts 28.
What's going on in Acts 28?
This is the last chapter in Acts when Paul arrives in Rome for his hearing and such.
Okay.
But I just want to look at verse 24. It says, and some believed the things which were spoken, and some believed not. So we're going to look at that idea of believed. And you'll notice the first one, and some believed, is from Pitho. And then the second one, some believed not, apisto.
It's like a completely different word.
Those are different words. And so what you can do, you can click Blue Letter Bible, you can click on the Strong's word and it brings you up to this page. And if you scroll down, you see Thayer's Greek Lexicon.
Okay, so this is going to be definitions.
Definitions.
And collocations.
Yeah. So here you see it's talking about the Greek word. It's an entry on the Greek word, not the English word. It's not talking about faith. It's not talking about belief. It's talking about pitho here.
Okay.
And you'll see it starts by giving you all the different Greek forms, which if you don't know Greek, not relevant.
So we will continue on to.
And I mean, this is just to point out the lexicons might be not relevant because they are more grammatically oriented. So if you don't know grammar terms and such well, they're probably not going to be as useful.
Okay.
Okay.
When would they be useful?
If you're trying to figure out nuances of grammar. So for example, here in the active voice, this word means to persuade. Where if you scroll down here, if it changes in the passive and middle voice, it can mean to be persuaded, or even to listen to, obey, comply with, or to trust, have confidence. And now you're getting into this idea of belief and faith and so on in the passive. Okay, so there's an example of how the grammatical form of the word nuances the meaning of the word.
Which is why it would be found in a lexicon, because it's talking about the word itself.
Yeah, so they're really attuned to grammar and what words are around. Like here, you can see to believe plus the word hoti, which means that. Or here, tini is referring to believing in someone. Okay, so those are kind of like your collocation type words.
Sure.
It's in Greek, so
yeah,
it's not going to be.
I'm not sure how helpful this will be for people who don't know Greek.
And so this is where the dictionaries are probably going to be more helpful for most people.
Okay.
But
you can still get some things like the bolded headings are helpful.
Are the definitions? Yes.
Yeah.
These are the main definitions. So persuade, to make friends of, to win one's favor, to persuade unto, and so on.
And with the verses too, that show
it
you
takes
examples.
You to the verses.
That's
helpful.
Okay.
Yep. And if you just keep scrolling down in Blue Letter Bible, the entry ends with a concordance. So here is a concordance where it gives you everywhere where this word is used in the New Testament.
Nice.
Okay.
And it's just New Testament because it's Greek.
Well, you have the Septuagint, which is the Greek translation of the Old Testament. Okay. And so if you click here, view OT results.
Old Testament results.
It'll also give you where the word is used in the Old Testament.
Cool.
It doesn't mark where it is, unfortunately. So you kind of have to guess. So like here in Leviticus 25:19, it reads, "And the land shall yield her fruit, and ye shall eat your fill and dwell there in safety."
Belief is in there somewhere.
Where's belief? And so this might be like the King James, which is what this is translating the Hebrew. So this might be a place where the Hebrew and Greek are maybe a little different, or maybe there's a unique use of the word.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, yeah. So that's where
hit or miss sometimes.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Okay.
So the New Testament's going to be more direct.
Yeah.
Okay.
How did you get to this page again?
This is.
So we are at Acts 28.
You come up here, you search a verse, Acts 28. You find your verse. So we are in verse 24. You just click on the verse.
Click on the verse reference.
You find the word you want and you click on the Strong's.
The Strong's number is the G for Greek and then its number.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, some of our listeners probably have like an actual Strong's book.
Right.
Which this is all just digitized of that and updated.
It's a lot faster. You can click into it. Yeah. And then you just scroll down. Well, we'll do a whole episode on Blue Letter Bible where we'll go more into this, but we just want to talk about the tools here and when you would use them. But a lot of people like to use concordances and just scroll through and see where it's used. And they'll say things like, oh, this is the same word that's used in Matthew 27 where it says he trusted. And then, so the chief priests and the elders trusted, or,
they'll like exchange words out.
Yeah. And you can't do that, right? Because we saw up here in the lexicon, words nuance their meaning depending on context, depending on grammatical form, depending on collocation, and so on. So you have to be careful to, like, when a lexicon or a dictionary says that there's different meanings of a word, take that seriously. They're actually different meanings of the word,
and not all at one time.
And not all at one time.
Can't mean this one thing all at one time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we'll go more into word study techniques and so on. But we need to just establish these tools. But that's just kind of one warning to not use these tools too loosely, but for their intended purpose.
So if you scroll down to the concordance, so anytime the word is used, it has its number next to it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So that tells you that it's that word. And that would be important for something like Acts, right? It has the word with this believed, but not this one.
Oh, because it was a different word.
It's a different
word.
We saw
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. So blueletterbible.org to help you with dictionaries, aka encyclopedias,
right?
Lexicons, aka dictionaries and history and very grammar-y stuff.
Yeah.
And then concordances of just lists of where this word shows up.
Yep.
Helpful. Awesome. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Bible Toolbox. All of the resources mentioned in this episode are posted on our website, thebibletoolbox.com. There you can also find out more information on how to give and support us. And we have loved all of the encouragement and feedback we've received from you. So thanks so much.